Welcome everyone. We are going to talk about the incoming transit of planet Saturn into the sign of Aquarius. This is a very powerful transit this time because Saturn would be entering its Mool Trikon sign, and Saturn is coming back to this sign after 30 years. Yes, it is coming back after 30 years because it stays in a sign for 2.5 years. So it means to cover the 12 signs, it has to take 30 years to reach back to the same sign. So this is going to be a very good transit for almost all the zodiac signs. I mean to say for all the moon signs and for also all the ascendants. We will be talking about that after a while. But because the Aquarius sign is the Mool Trikona sign of Saturn, it is a powerful sign for Saturn to give its results, and this is a more, you can say, intellectual sign of Saturn, where the energies are more related to the mind. The energies are more related to the you can say intellectual side. Now Aquarius sign is a fixed sign, and Aquarius sign is also a air sign, so it means the energies of Saturn by and large for almost the entire world is going to be ruled upon intellectually, and there could be many inventions which we can expect during this time, and there could be lots of development in the aeronautical sector. There could be lots of development in the space sector, and there could be more accomplishments in the educational sector also, because these are all the things which are associated with the air sign. Air sign is all about your thought processes. There would be lots of inventions, discoveries, and education will take a front seat during this time. And the 11 number sign is also a fixed sign, so it means lots of things which will happen will be having fixity of purpose. So a trailer of this transit was also felt during the months of May, June, and some part of July, you can say the mid part of July. So these 2.5 months were the periods when Saturn was transiting in the sign of Aquarius. So it gave you certain results. So you can go back to that time and very well imagine what kind of results planet Saturn gave you during that time. So friends, before proceeding further, I would also like to introduce a concept of the Paya. You can say the pair or Murti. So what happens during this is that Saturn, when it is transiting to the sign of Aquarius, at that time we see the position of moon. So I have checked it during that day, that is on 17th of January 2023, moon would be in the sign of Scorpio. So based upon the position of moon, we have to see this position of moon with respect to your natal moon position. So with respect to your natal moon position, the Saturn will enter with a kind of tag which is called as the Murti. So I will tell you in short, for those people who are having the moon signs of Libra, of Cancer, and of Pisces, for these three moon signs, it is going to be a silver Murti period of Saturn, which is a excellent period. So these people will get very good results overall in these 2.5 years, despite the fact that there is the start of the Sade Sati for the Pisces sign, even though it is starting, and even though it is the Cancer sign which is going to see the Ashtam Dhaya of Saturn, still it is going to give you very good results. Now there is the next category which is called as the Copper Murti for the signs, for the moon signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Aquarius. It'll be a good time overall. So next 2.5 years are going to be a good period for these three moon signs. The next category is the 159 signs, that is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For these people, it will be the iron murti time. So which means it will be a okay time, a very satisfactory time, not very great, not very bad. So it's a okay time for these three moon signs. Then is the moon sign of Scorpio, Gemini and Capricorn. For these three moon signs, it will be somewhat a difficult period. So for these people, it is going to be a gold murti. So gold murti, you don't have to go by the name. Gold murti with Saturn's transit, beginning of Saturn's transit, is not a very great time. So don't worry about this, because Jupiter is also going to change its transit, and I will be making a separate video about the transit of Jupiter in the sign of Aries after this. So I will talk about that later. So let's first also talk about the nakshatras which are falling in the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius is having three nakshatras. One is Dhanishta, which is ruled by planet Mars. Then is the next nakshatra, which is the Shadbisha, and the third nakshatra is the Purva Bhadra. Shadbisha nakshatra is ruled by Rahu and Purva Bhadra is ruled by Jupiter. So Saturn does not consider Jupiter as its very special friend, and neither does it consider Mars as its friend. So what will happen is that when Saturn is transiting in the nakshatra of Dhanishta, it will not give very favorable results. So it will give some struggles, some difficult situations. But when it enters into the sign of Shadbisha, the energies will be more towards the intellectual side. So we can expect lots of good results coming during that time. Now, when Saturn enters into the Purva Bhadra nakshatra of Jupiter, even then it is going to give you good results, because Jupiter is basically a benefic, and Saturn, although it doesn't consider Jupiter as its friend, still it is not going to give you malefic results. So what I want to say is that the most difficult results would be felt during the first, you can say, 13.2 degrees tenure of Saturn in the sign of Dhanishta, which is ruled by Mars. Another thing, if we go by the Rashi Sangat chakra, which is a special kind of, you can say, chakra which is made of planets' transit position, in that chakra, Saturn is making a connection with planet Mars. So whenever Saturn makes a connection with Mars in these special chakras, or directly in the zodiac signs, directly in the astrological chart, that is a very difficult period, and it can cause some difficulties which are associated with warring situations. So there could be some, you can say, warlike conditions at the borders during the first 3 months of Saturn's transit, that is from January, mid-January, February, and you can say roughly mid of March. So these, you can say, 2 months, mid-January to mid-February and mid-February to mid-March, these 2 months are going to be very tough periods, and it can cause some warring situations. Now, when Saturn is going to enter into the sign of Aquarius, next to it is the sign of Pisces, which is already having Jupiter posited there. And next to the sign of Pisces is the sign of Aries, which is having Rahu posited here. Now, as per the Nadi astrology, Jupiter is surrounded by Saturn on one side and Rahu on the other side. So I'm not here considering the other planets, because these three planets, which are like very important planets because they stay in a sign for a longer duration. So these three planets are going to give us the crux of what we can expect. So this placement of Jupiter surrounded by Saturn and Rahu on either sides is going to cause some concern for the people in large, you can say people in general. and this concern is going to be there till, you can say, the time, until the time Jupiter is here in the sign of Pisces. By mid-April, Jupiter will enter into the sign of Aries, where it is going to connect with Rahu. So then what will happen is, then Jupiter will be in the Rahu Ketu axis. Then the warlike situation will end. But the problem is that Jupiter is now surrounded by Rahu and Ketu in its axis. So here there is a probability that around middle of April, when Jupiter has entered the sign of Aries, there could be a possibility of another wave of corona. And the thing is that this scare, or you can say another wave of corona, could stay till the time of 31st October 2023. After that, Rahu and Ketu will be changing its position, and after that, this fear of corona will settle down. Now, we'll be talking about the placement of Saturn's transit to various moon signs, and the Sade Sati for people with Sagittarius moon sign will be ending, and the Sade Sati for the Pisces people would be starting, and the Sade Sati for the Capricorn sign will enter into their third phase, and the Sade Sati for the Aquarius moon signs will be at their peak. And there will be the Ashtam Dhaya for the Cancer signs. So people with the Cancer moon sign will have Saturn enter into their 8th house, and 8th house will cause Ashtam Dhaya. And people with the, you can say, Scorpio moon sign will be having their Kantak Dhaya, where Saturn would be entering their 4th house. So what are the results which we can expect for the Aries sign? Let's first discuss that. So friends, although for the Aries sign, the 11th house is a Badhak house and Saturn will be entering that house, but the good thing is that Saturn is entering its own sign. So it is going to help you in many regards. So first of all, you have to be careful about your health, because from here Saturn is aspecting your first house, which is already having Rahu in it. So there could be some concerns related to your health. Next is that Saturn is going to help you win up some difficulties or court cases which you have been going through so far. So if there have been some, you can say, court cases or money which has been stuck somewhere, you will be able to recover that money during this transit. From here, Saturn is also aspecting your 5th house. 5th house, so friends, Saturn, wherever it will aspect, it will require you to give some attention to that house. So 5th house is your children, and 5th house is also about the things that you really admire or adore. So here you will have to give up on those things. You will have to be very restrictive about those things which you cannot do away with. So Saturn's aspect on your 8th house is also happening. So it means that some of you would be able to gain some money which will come through inheritance, or which can come through, you can say, insurance. So there would be some money that you have been expecting so far, it will come to you during this time. So overall, it is a good period for gain in your income, and for also your career prospects. It is good. So whatever kind of jobs that you have been desiring so far would basically come up in front of you. So you will feel privileged with this transit. Next is the Taurus sign. So the Taurus sign will be having Saturn in their 10th house. So in a way, it is forming a Shash Yoga. So it's a wonderful placement. So these people will get very good results because Saturn is already yogkari for them. So being the lord of the 10th house and sitting lord of the 9th and the 10th house, sitting in the 10th house will be very good for promoting their careers. So by the grace of God, by the grace of their luck, they will be having some good opportunities which will come up in their lives, and they may have to undertake some travels associated with their work. It could be foreign related travels also, and they will have to like put in more efforts towards their work. And also one more thing is that they may have to undertake some foreign travels related to their work, and there could be some expenditures which they have to keep a track of, because if they are mindlessly like spending money, they could find some difficulties later on. Then is Saturn's aspect into your 4th house. So 4th house is your house of schooling, education. It's the house of your domestic life. It is also the house of your comforts. So due to your more attention towards work, you will get less time to relax and less time to enjoy the comforts of home. Saturn's aspect falling on your 10th house. Sorry, Saturn's aspect is also falling on your 7th house. Now 7th house is your marriage also, and 7th house is your foreign travels also. So again, it is initiating those travels, and you will be able to get good results in your marriage also. So some people who are still waiting for their marriages will be able to get very good results this year, and they can get married in the current year. Saturn's transit for the sign of Gemini. For you guys, Saturn is falling in your 9th house. Again, it is sitting in its own sign. So good placement. So those people who have been desiring to travel abroad, or those people who have been desiring to have a change of job, can also expect good results here. And a lot of people who have been wanting to study in foreign land will also be able to visit foreign countries. And those people who have been preparing for law examinations or for UGC kind of examinations to become a lecturer will also get very good results here. And this transit is also going to help you increase your income. And for that, although this transit is requiring you to put in some efforts here, and during this time you will get very good results related to your wealth, and very good results related to your partnerships also. So your partnerships will strengthen in the current year, and your desires will be met because of this placement. Now we'll talk about the transit of Saturn in the sign of Cancer. For the Cancer sign, Saturn is falling in your 8th house. So friends, for the Cancer sign, Saturn is not a very favorable planet. It is a functionally malefic planet. But because it is sitting in its own sign in the 8th house, so in a way it is causing some Viprit Raj Yoga. So even though there could be some health related problems, but through that also you will have some transformation, inner transformation, and you will also have some material gains coming through that. So basically there will be some changes which are going to happen related to your health, but it is going to also bring some material gains out of it. This position is also good for your 6th house. So some of you who are in jobs will be doing a lot of good, and they will be attaining lots of appreciation for their efforts. And those people who are in businesses will have some good gains coming through this. And those people who are in the travel industry, or those people who are into communication sector will also get very good results. So this placement of Saturn is also going to cause some more efforts in your career domain, and this position will also cause some, you can say, uh, some kind of concern related to your wealth. So for that you will always have to be on high alert, but still it is causing you some kind of Viprit Raj Yoga. Next, we'll talk about the placement of Saturn for the sign of Leo. For Leos, Saturn is again forming a Shash Yoga by sitting in its own sign in the 7th house. So it is going to give you good results and lots of difficulties, or those people who have been fighting court cases can have some gains coming out of it. Those people who have been facing difficulties in their work will prosper, and a lot of people uh, who have been married for some time will get good results. So those people who are in relationship can also expect to get married here, and those people who are like wanting to travel to foreign lands, or who are wanting to study further, who are wanting to do higher education, to take up higher education, will also benefit through this transit. Now we'll talk about the Virgo sign. For the Virgo sign, Saturn is falling in your 6th house. So 6th house transit of Saturn is also good here, because it is again forming a Viprit Raj Yoga. So lots of your enemies uh, would be taken care of, and lots of diseases or lots of health issues, if you have been facing till now, will be taken care of. So you'll come out of your problems, and uh, by and large it is going to give you good results. This placement is also good for your you can say domestic life. So a lot of people who are in their schools and attaining their schoolings will be able to put in extra efforts to get very good results, and this placement also will disturb you from your sleep. So you will be working more hard than usual in this transit, and it is going to give you good results post that. So we'll talk about the transit of Saturn in the sign of Libra. So in this sign, Saturn is falling in your 5th house. So the good thing is that although Saturn does not give very good results in the 5th, but since this time it is in its own sign, so it is going to give you good results. So a lot of people will want to learn more, and they will become more careful about their health, and this placement also desires you to put some extra efforts in your marriages, and this position is good for attaining some gains, and your income will also come through your properties, and this placement is also good for attaining wealth through properties. So it's a good position because Saturn is yogkari for Librans, and it will help you prosper in two things, that is home comforts and education. So these few areas are where you will gain. Now we'll talk about the Scorpio sign. For the Scorpio sign, Saturn is falling in your 4th house. So in the 4th house, Saturn is very powerful. So it means you may have to live away from your home in order to build your own home. So one is this, you may have to take lots of travels also away from your home for some good reasons, and a lot of people who are in service can expect some postings and some of you can also expect some promotion, due to which you may have to change your place. Overall, this transit will be good for your own self. So you will realize that lots of changes have to be brought in your own self for you to do better in life. So it's a good transit, and travels would prosper, and there can be good results coming into your own self by and large. So next we'll talk about the transit of Saturn for the sign of Sagittarius. So for you, your Sade Sati is ending and Saturn will be entering into the third house. It's a very powerful position because Saturn will give good results in the third house, in the sixth house, in the ninth house also, and in the 11th house also. So for you, it is a very cherished position, and you will be able to come out of your difficulties which you have been facing so far. And a lot of you who are planning to build a property will be able to build this time or buy a new property, and you will be able to attain good sound wealth also during this time. And this position also requires you to put some attention in your children's life. So if you have children, you will need more attention on them. And from here, because Saturn is looking at your 12th house, so it means there could be some journeys related to foreign land, or you may find it hard to have a sound sleep, because 12th house is also about your sleep pattern, and it is also about your bed comforts. So on that regard, you will find some difficulties, or you can say unsettlement. And Saturn is also aspecting your ninth house. So again, it is promising you some long distance journeys and some efforts related to acquiring higher education. So we'll talk about the transit of Saturn in the Capricorn moon sign. So for you, Saturn is now moving away from the ascendant and going to your second house. So friends, second house is a better position compared to your ascendant, because here it is going to promote your wealth. So you are going to be thinking about earning more wealth, and on that regards you will prosper. And there could be some health related concerns, and you will be able to overcome that also for sure. From here, Saturn is aspecting your fourth house. So it means due to some reasons, you may have to stay away from your family. And Saturn is also aspecting your eighth house here. So it means that you will be able to bring some important changes in your life so as to keep a better health. So from here, Saturn is also aspecting your 11th house of income, sitting in the house of wealth and aspecting at your house of income is a good position for those who are wanting to become better financially. So now we'll talk about the placement of Saturn in the ascendant for the Aquarius sign. For you, it's a very beautiful position because now Saturn is coming to your ascendant. A lot of people who have been wanting to make their health better, whether it is in the form of giving up on some habits or on some eating habits, or wanting to lose weight or something else, anything which is concerning the betterment of yourself. So on that regards, you will get very good results, and Saturn will bring some desired changes in your life. From here, Saturn is also aspecting your third house. So it means you will be putting in more efforts to make your own self better and to attain some physical strength. So Saturn is aspecting your seventh house also. So friends, during this transit, you will try to bring in some better changes inside your own self so as to make your partnership better or your marriages better. So by bringing in some changes inside your own self, you will be able to make lots of things around you better. So this transit is also helping you on your career front. So there could be some career changes that you can expect during this time due to your own personal changes that you will have to go through. So you will do well in that. And there could be some foreign related opportunities that could come to you. So now we'll talk about the Pisces moon sign. For the Pisces, Saturn is falling in your 12th house. So it means you will be starting with your Sade Sati. So Saturn is sitting in its own sign. So the first phase of Sade Sati will be good for you. Even the second phase of Sade Sati will be good for you. But the third phase of Sade Sati, which is going to come after 5 years, we'll talk about that, will require some concerns. So here, Sade Sati will be a good time for you, and you will try to control your expenditures with this, and you will also try to make some investments so as to have a good, you can say, savings in the long run. So your attention would be towards uh, putting money in something so as to grow it in the long run. So one point is this. Next is that Saturn is also aspecting your 6th house. So a lot of people who have been trying to crack examinations, competitions, will be able to do much better in this transit, because Jupiter is also sitting in your ascendant and it is aspecting your 5th house. And after Jupiter enters the Pisces sign, it will be aspecting your 6th house, and Saturn is already in your 12th house. So combined effect of these two important planets will be very prosperous for you to crack some important competitions or examinations. From here, Saturn is also aspecting your 9th house. So friends, 9th house is your Bhagyasthan, and Saturn, being the lord of your 11th house and 12th house, is good for you. So it means that you will be able to attain some wealth, and you will be able to make your luck better here, or you could turn more spiritual during this phase of your Sade Sati. So friends, I think I have said enough on the transit of Saturn. I will make a separate video on the transit of Jupiter, and I'll share my thoughts on that. So till then, stay connected and happy transit to all of you.